Marvin in the magic mirror from the farthest space. Through wind and darkness I summon thee. Speak! And let me see thy face.
What wouldst thou know, my master?
Magic AI on the wall, show me the dullest fairy tale movie of them all.
I see a princess whose skin is white, along with 7 little creatures within my sight.
How dare you call Snow White boring when it's full of songs, scary trees, and a diabolical Disney villain?
I am not referring to the one you hold so dearly. There is another one you have to review severely.
Alas for the other one. Reveal its name!
A film drenched in the 90s with dragons and a shadow creature. Snow White herself looks far different in this feature. Mother Nature, smoking owls, and every bits to fill up the room, all leading up to Snow White's adventures in
the Land of Doom. If you think that many companies try desperately hard to cash in on Disney's popular feature-length pictures, take a gander at the making of this movie. Once upon a time, there was a company called Filmation, known to make famous cartoons like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the Groovy Ghoulies, Brave Star, and a few others. They made a movie that tried to capitalize on the Disney classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The result ended with critics disliking it, becoming a box office bomb, nobody remembered the Super Nintendo game, leading to the bankruptcy of Filmation, and nobody lived happily ever after. But truth be told, this is not the first Disney knockoff movie Filmation created. And it's not even their first Snow White project. Before it, there was a Christmas special called A Snow White Christmas and a feature-length film entitled Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. The latter ended with Disney trying to sue them for stealing the source material. However, Filmation was lucky enough to win the lawsuit since the Pinocchio story was in the public domain. But the same thing cannot be said about the Snow White movie, as the crew was suffering legal problems, vowing to have their characters not resemble the ones from the Disney version, and renaming the title of the movie from Snow White and the Land of Doom to Happily Ever After. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. Let's take a bite out of this apple. This is Happily Ever After. Before I get to talk about the movie, I want to clarify that Filmation originally had plans to make direct-to-video sequels to some of the popular Disney movies similar to Happily Ever After and The Emperor of the Night. This is the origins behind the Disney direct-to-video sequels. Trust me, these movies were made before The Return of Jafar. The reason why I bring this up because it clearly shows it does feel like a Disney direct-to-video sequel. After the prince frees Snow White from her sleeping spell and they're about to live happily ever after, there's an evil wizard named Lord Malice who just happens to be the brother of the evil queen. With her sister dead, he vows vengeance on Snow White and the prince. The couple gets separated, and Snow White has to go find the prince with the help of the 7 dwarf elves. Yeah, just to get this out of the way, the actual 7 dwarfs are nowhere to be found in this movie. It clearly shows there was a lawsuit waiting to happen. And did I forget that this is absolutely boring to watch? The problem with the plot of the movie, it doesn't know how to craft a good fairy tale story, even as a sequel to a Snow White story. This is nothing but a character-driven story where our heroes have to go from point A to point B to save the prince. Even if they try to add in dragons, Mother Nature, dwarf elves that control the elements, a mysterious shadow man, and a cigar-smoking owl teaming up with a bat. I know what you're thinking. What? There were some magical moments in Snow White. Why not here? Because there were no indications if all of those would appear in a Snow White story. What makes Snow White a charming fairy tale is that it's a simple story that only needs a magic mirror, 7 dwarves, a poison apple, a couple of spells, and true love's kiss to break the sleeping spell. That's all you need. Every time that I see a dragon or the goons inside the castle in this movie, I feel like I'm watching a Disney knockoff of Sleeping Beauty. But that's not all. Do you know what's worse than a boring fairy tale? A boring fairy tale with an annoying side plot on Scowl and Batso. Not only is it just pointless filler from a 75-minute film, it makes it unbearable to sit through and makes me want to yell at these guys to go away! No matter how hard it tries not to be Disney or what they added, the plot does not have what it takes to make a Snow White movie. When writing a supposed sequel, you'd think we might go deep into the characters and their goals. This is not the case. All the characters here only serve one purpose or role with nothing else on them. Snow White herself is the pretty princess that is on a quest to save the prince. Aside from that, she is not three-dimensional as either Disney Snow White, Shrek the Third, or Ralph Breaks the Internet. Then you have the prince, who, just like the Disney prince, only appears in the beginning and the end of the movie, and we still don't know his name. There is nothing else that I can say about him other than he looks like He-Man but with less muscles. For the dwarf elves, almost all of them have no personality despite being the dwarves' cousins. The only dwarf elves that sorta have a point in here are Sunburn as the grumpy member of the group and Thunderella struggling to control her powers. The rest only share one bland, unfunny trait like Muddy being the leader of the team and Moonbeam sleepwalking during the day. Even with their elemental powers such as the earth, water, animals, night, and more, and having Mother Nature as their boss, they don't really use them to solve everything and take down an all-powerful wizard. Other characters have only one role to either help Snow White or the villain, like the Looking Glass sharing updates about Snow White's whereabouts, and the Shadow Man who kinda looks like a character from Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, and you can guess why and who he really is. But then there's Scowl and Batso, the most hateable, annoying characters this movie has to offer. All they do is try to prove that they're bad and either claim Lord Malice's honor or run away from him for screwing everything up. The only character that feels like an actual character is the villain, Lord Malice. Although he acts like a cartoon villain, but give him some credit, he's the only entertaining part of this movie thanks to his voice actor Malcolm McDowell.
Perfect! Soon I shall have my revenge!
However, I still have one issue with him. For a villain that wants vengeance and contains powerful spells and have all the time in the world to either kill or lock her up, he ends up wasting precious time with pointless filler. And come to think of it, I was actually surprised that this features some legendary actors and actresses. Carol Channing, Phyllis Diller, Ed Asner, Frank Welker, Dom DeLuise. The acting is not that bad, and I do appreciate that the material they were given. Even if their acting is good, the story is dull and features a bunch of characters that nobody will remember. If I can give the film credit, the animation is decent. Although it's not good as Disney's animation, I can still say the animators do have some talent. The character animation is well polished, successfully managed to use some subtle cartoony and serious movements. Even some of the character designs look nice, trying to do their best to not look like Disney. Although, it still shows that they stole the look from them whenever Snow White is on screen. And I'll admit I had to give credit to some of the magic scenes. Even if the material they use is not from the actual story, the visuals do look creative. But there are still some issues with the animation. Although the backgrounds do look nice, there's nothing really magical around here. All we see is a beautiful meadow, a haunted forest, and a dark castle. There are even some errors that are easy to find, like some sag animation, and the characters don't sink into the backgrounds. Also, whenever someone casts some spells at someone or doing action scenes, there are times when the combats move so fast it only lasts half a millisecond on how they avoid or defeat Malice and his goons so quickly. I even had to rewind the movie so I can figure out what just happened because I only blinked for a second. While it does not succeed as a Snow White movie, I can't say the animation is bad. Okay, I had a difficult time to determine if I can talk about them in the plots category or go over them individually. The thing about the song is that there are only 4 songs in this movie and one of them is played during the end credits. But seeing that it would take too long to discuss them during the plot, I unwillingly had to talk about them. I don't need to talk about the end credits song, Love is a Reason, but the rest are either cringy or forgettable. The first song, The Baddest, is a horrible rap song to hammer in Scowl is bad. Thunderella's song is this cheesy 80s pop song that goes on and on that she wants to control her thunder and lightning powers. And Mother Nature's song is this weird reggae number about Mother Nature creating life with the dwarf elves guessing bad puns. Not only all of them are pointless as Scowl and Batso, but they only appeared in the first third of the movie. They appear right out of nowhere and often occur whenever a new character is introduced. The only exception is the Baddest after Malice leaves the castle and lets Scowl take over.
I'm bad, see? You gotta be bad like me.
Oh, you're definitely bad, and so is your movie. The real reason why they add those songs is because Disney's So White had musical numbers. I would like to sing Hi Ho, Whistle While You Work, and the Yodel song, so there's no need for me to sing any of these songs from this knockoff movie. I think we can all agree that Kingdom Hearts is more canon to Snow White than this Snow White adaptation. Happily Ever After is nothing more but another soulless fairy tale movie that plagiarized a beloved Disney classic. Even if the animation is just okay, it won't make up with a dull story, characters that are either annoying or uninteresting, and a random list of musical numbers that aren't even close into making a soundtrack. You already know the answer to this. Skip this movie and watch the Disney version. It's more memorable, charming, beautiful, and it's not even afraid to put in some dark imageries. The only thing that's interesting or even worth remembering about this movie is its history and Filmation's bankruptcy. It's going to the flames of failure. My review is done. All I can say is goodbye, farewell, inferior one. Now if you'll excuse me, I better eat an apple before I go to bed. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe me for a new review and other project every week. I'll see you soon.